After 20 years, if you play a song and the crowd gets excited off the first lyric, you're like, oh shit.
What was the biggest kind of what the fuck moment?
Being adults, we can look at that and say, we know that that was uncomfortable and wrong.
Yeah.
Also, none of your fucking business.
So the band breaks up. Would you guys change anything about the way that went down?
When it comes to music, I didn't feel, being transparent, confident to do it independently.
We were just kind of getting over the hump of having to talk about the Purity Rings a lot, and we're like,
Hi, I'm Michael Sebastian, Editor-in-Chief of Esquire. Today I'm joined by a band of brothers, one that started in a New Jersey garage and went on to achieve international acclaim, all before they could legally rent a car. From Disney stardom to the global stage, 2 decades in, their place in the pop culture pantheon has been firmly cemented. 3 brothers, countless hits, one hell of a second act. Please welcome the Jonas Brothers.
Hey.
Hey.
That was a great intro. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank
What
you.
an intro.
Yeah.
One
Nick-
take, by the way, that was one take.
That was one take.
That's good.
I know,
Professional
right?
here.
I don't mean to give any notes, but technically not the garage, but in a very,
It was the
similar
basement,
room,
right?
Basement.
It was the basement, yeah. So
I'm sorry, I just had to make
I think
that
we did
clear.
set up in the garage once just
One
to
time.
take a photo to pretend like we were a garage
Yeah.
band, but
yeah, that's actually where I want to start. I've seen the documentary a couple of times, as a matter of fact, and I was getting these kind of like Bruce Springsteen Born to Run vibes as I'm watching you guys make this music in your basement. So take me there to when you're there in your basement, and like just paint the picture for us.
that was the place we could be the loudest, really. 4 boys growing up in New Jersey in a very small home. But it was just us kind of like this, in a circle, playing music that we loved, bands that we would go listen to, like Switchfoot or Oasis, Coldplay, to name a few, just great lyricists and people that we aspired to be one day. But in the basement's where we were able to really go down till the wee hours and just play, literally drenching sweat, usually playing over and over and over again with pipes all around us. I mean, humble beginnings, but also really the core memory of us as brothers becoming a band.
What kind of music was playing in your house in New Jersey when you guys were doing
So
this?
much.
So we had a Ford Windstar. It was sort of that like greenish gray tone. It's a minivan. And our dad would drive, back and forth to New York City. At the time, there was a black kind of CD booklet case with, 30 something CDs in it. Our dad filled it with all of his go-tos, Carole King, Tapestry, Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life, Bee Gees #1s, Beatles #1s. It really became our musical education. And the thing I really appreciate most about the way our dad taught us about his favorite music is that when we would discover something on our own, or when we would want to hear something in the car that we heard on the radio that perhaps was outside of the things that he knew or was familiar with, he was so encouraging. He always said that if someone has made it to that point, they've done something right.
So I want to go to a specific moment. Your dad loses his job.
What?
Sorry to tell you that too.
When?
And so he loses his job. The record label drops you at that same time, right? You move out of your house in Wyckoff, New Jersey. You move to it's a small house. It's like 2 bedrooms or something like that. Tell me what that moment is like. What do you learn from something like that?
We were sad. Our life was changing dramatically, but we were also just kept pushing forward.
Yeah.
4 boys, 1 bedroom in the Little Falls house, and we ended up getting dropped, and then Nick wrote a song called SOS in the basement, and it just unlocked the potential of the Jonas Brothers. And that's why I think that album, the self-titled album that came as our second real album, was why we named it that. Is that it truly was who we were. I think we found ourselves.
Yeah.
It forced us to.
Yeah, it's the first moment in I think all of our lives where we perhaps better understood what financial stress can do to a family.
Yeah.
Which is a very important lesson to learn, and I think it was invaluable to us at that time. Obviously, traumatic and tough to navigate as a family in real time. But I think we all had this deep sense of belief that it was going to work, and we were that close. A lot of very real sacrifices and very big swings that either would be an enormous consequence for us that we'd have to figure out, or it was going to work.
Yeah.
And so thank God it worked.
We were living what felt like an oddly double life, because we'd go play these concerts and have these massive crowds.
Yeah.
And that kind of rock star mentality that we were feeling on stage, and then we'd go back to a small room with a crying baby, and we're like, what? This is like, again, thank God that was our case, because it really kind of, I think, reminded us of just where we came from, like all those years later. And for some of us, we were like, we got to get out of here. Like we can't take this place anymore. It's holding us back. Fast forward, you look back at those memorable moments and years, and you're like, that was so definitive of who we are as a band and people.
Let's move beyond that. And you're out in LA. The Disney Channel is playing, one of your songs over and over again. I mean, you go from 3 guys in a 2-bedroom house in New Jersey to worldwide sensations in like less than 2 years or something like that, right?
I mean, hearing our song on the radio for the first time, I'll never forget. We were at, I think it was Coney Island, but running on hot pavement to our car so we could listen to, because somebody said, hey, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, they're going to play your song. Everything was happening at once, and I think we were just kind of ready for the ride. And I think we were built for it, because we were like, okay, we know what it feels like not to have that. Let's lock in when we get our shot, we have to go for it.
Yeah, give it everything.
Yeah. What was the biggest kind of what the fuck moment for you? Like the thing that you're just kind of like, this is weird.
I think it was the interest in our personal lives. At first was something that we were obviously foreign to, but also we were so young. And I think some of the things that people were talking about in today's day and age, and I'm thankful to say we've come such a long way in 15 to 16 years, to where it would be completely inappropriate to speak about a 13 or 14-year-old's dating life or sex life, or all of that. And it was something that was really synonymous with our name and our image for a while, whether we wanted it or not. When you live that public life, it's part of I'd say like the tax you have to pay. I'm grateful that, for the most part, I'm pretty well adjusted. We all are, considering some of the things we had to sort of navigate.
Speaking of people prying into your personal lives at that young age, let's talk about the purity rings. Do you have yours still, Joe? Yeah?
Somewhere here. Hold on, let me find it.
You know what I mean? You guys have talked about it since then, but people are asking you about these purity rings that you wore that were supposed to signify that you were going to be, virgins until you were married or something along those lines.
So yeah, basically, in the church system that we grew up in, this was pretty much, customary for born again Christian faith to sort of make this commitment in your youth group or whatever. And it was just sort of part of let's call it the curriculum, right? I would say the success rate of that commitment for most people is probably not that high. Because that's life, you grow up and you start making your own choices, and I think if the conversation was able to be had, there'd be some levity that would come with just being like, it's a really good concept.
Right.
It's a great concept.
Wait for the right person.
Wait for the right person.
Wait till you're ready.
Wait till you understand this. Perhaps not at your youth group, right? And we were playing at the Jingle Ball Festival. It's the show that iHeartRadio puts on in New York. We had this big interview and cover story set up with a magazine, and the journalist right away sort of dug into talking about the purity rings. Meanwhile, I'm 14, I think at the time, 14 or 15. Joe's 16, Kevin's 17 or 18. Quite young to my point before this, to be asking us about that. And also, I'll say this, none of your fucking business. And these are the things we could never say then, which now, being adults, we can look at that and say, we know that was in the moment inherently uncomfortable and wrong. And the interview kind of got shut down. Things got weird because he was pressing so hard on that. Eventually the article comes out and it's all about that. It just got spun out of proportion. And eventually, as I said before, it became really synonymous with our name for a while. The South Park episode, other things that talked about it. And I think we're all pretty balanced in saying, we get it. It's a bizarre thing for a lot of people to digest, and we're teenagers navigating our own journey with something that's a very complicated and important subject. We've certainly learned a lot from it.
You mentioned the South Park episode. When you saw that, did you think it was funny, or were you or was it uncomfortable?
I was a fan of South Park, so knowing they make fun of you, it is a what the fuck moment where you're like, oh, this is incredible.
This is insane.
I think it was more about the concept and making money about it, using purity rings to make money.
Foul-mouthed Mickey Mouse is kind of fun.
I mean, getting my ass kicked by Mickey Mouse is one of the highlights of my career thus far. We were just kind of getting over the hump of having to talk about the purity rings a lot, and we're like, fuck.
Cut you off! You see? We were right about the purity rings. A nice Christian symbol can't be used for profit gains. We've all anchored God.
Now it's hilarious.
Now it's hilarious.
Now
I think
it's
we
hilarious,
could show it during our concert. But at the time, it was a little confusing, even though it was like, and I'm secretly thinking it's pretty funny. I'm like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's like,
Yeah.
nobody wants to be the
butt of a joke.
Nobody wants to
Yeah.
sit front row at a comedy at the comedy store and knowing you're going to be the one being made fun of.
Your dad was a pastor, and I'm curious what your relationship is with God or with religion now compared to what it was when you were young.
Still have a relationship with God, with the church in my life, and it's important to me, and it's how I was raised, but it's also become more than that. It's my relationship that I have, and it's also what I want to pursue, how I want to pursue it. I think the difference in my life now is I understand that not everything is black and white.
Yeah.
There's way more gray than there is clarity.
Joe?
Being a pastor's kid, it was pretty mandatory to be second pew at church, well dressed. And I remember being like, I don't want to go today. And having a conversation with my mom, be like, yeah, I'm not going to go. And she was like, why? I was like, I don't know if I believe in God. And she was like, what? And maybe Sunday morning at 8 a.m. is not the best time to let your mom know that. But I think I've gone through quite a lot of journeys with my relationship with God, like going through some very life-changing things in my personal life. Like the last couple of years, I found myself praying a lot. And if there's turbulence, I'm definitely like, hey God, what's up? It's me again. So I've got a relationship with something.
Yeah.
Not sure what it is, but it's they, she, them have been great to me.
Tell me, do you remember the moment or a moment when all of this became a reality to you, where, giant entertainers? Was there a moment where that clicked?
We were nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammys, and we performed with Stevie Wonder. We were so nervous. We started with our song Burning Up, and then Stevie came out and we sang Superstition with him. And the first people to get up and encourage everyone to get on their feet was Paul McCartney and Chris Martin. And I got to tell this story to Chris years later, and of course Paul was like, that is just the coolest thing. And it was kind of a question, are we amongst our peers right now? This is different.
Special.
There's something about this. And we went on to lose to, rightfully so, to Adele that year.
It was a stacked year. Yeah, of course, Adele won. I think that moment for sure was up there. And then throughout, different chapters of our career, there have been times where, you think maybe we've reached the peak, right? And maybe everything else from this moment is just going to feel kind of less exciting or exhilarating. And fortunately, those peaks have really turned into plateaus where we're able to sort of traverse and get to our next peak. And that's been the story of our career now, and with some valleys as well there. But it just keeps getting better.
Does that ever come with kind of a sadness or a worry as well? It's like you've reached this, and it's like, you kind of said it yourself, it might not get any better than this.
You can sit there and look at the past and think that was the best it's ever gonna get. And then suddenly you're in it now and it's even better. And then 10 years from now, who knows, we might have that same feeling. So just staying present and trying to enjoy every moment, I think, has been our North Star.
Yeah. Okay, here's one I want all of you to answer as well. How much is too much to pay for a pair of socks?
How much is
Too much to pay for
Yeah.
a pair of socks. Phenomenal question.
Yeah. Why don't you start, Nick?
Too much to pay for a pair of socks. I think $50.
$50. Nice. Yes.
Like a really beautiful pair of socks for a suit, that kind of thing. They should max out there.
Joe?
I want to say $49, but I'm going to go with $40. Because I'm not too picky. Now, when it comes to compression socks, the older I get, the more I'll invest in an expensive pair of compression socks. That's well over $50. I've had 6 pairs.
Some ski socks, like you've had it.
Oh yeah.
Blasted like $120.
Yeah, those fuckers better work. Keep my feet warm.
I was gifted a pair of Tom Ford socks. That was a truly
He was gifted a pair.
I was gifted.
And now you're addicted to Tom Ford
And
socks?
I have never purchased a Tom Ford pair of socks myself, but I did look up the price. So I can understand the value of something like a Tom Ford sock.
How much are Tom Ford socks?
Tom Ford socks are north of $100 for a pair of regular socks.
But they're nice though, right?
But they are the best. Literally, I have them in one drawer.
Per sock?
Yeah.
And they are like, if I'm going to wearing a tux, I'm wearing those socks.
Great. It's a great gift.
Have you guys fucked around with cashmere socks before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do love like a fun colored socks, and a comfortable sock
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah.
Cashmere.
All right, you mentioned turbulence. Let's talk about a couple of turbulent things. So the band breaks up, okay? So that's 2013, right? Breaks up over creative differences. Would you guys change anything about the way that went down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Loaded question, but we did not have access to the vocabulary emotionally that we needed
Yeah.
to navigate that chapter. I had never done therapy, for instance, at that point in my life. I regret how the conversation went down, and the fact that it really was like ripping a Band-Aid as opposed to talking through that moment and that part of our story as family with love at the center of it.
Yeah.
I think what I would have changed is probably the three of us. We should have gone to some ranch and had a long weekend and like, let's just talk through like, where's everybody's heads at? That's what I would have done differently. But I don't know. We're here to tell the tale, and so the ranch thing just sounds fun. We should probably just do that anyway.
Yeah.
Just maybe go there anyway. I'd love that.
Go fishing.
Yeah, go fishing. I think that it needed to happen. And sometimes those conversations, no matter how tough, you look back on it and you're like, yeah, it had to be like that because we knew no other way.
Yeah.
It's never easy. It's never good. I will say I got lucky. I was distracted during that time. If I'm going to be honest, I was about to have our first daughter. So my mindset just kind of shifted. It was like, all right, let's focus on this now.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually like process it appropriately, and I didn't like grieve it either. Then I came crashing down.
Yeah.
But I just emotionally wasn't present. It was kind of interesting that I just shifted focus.
Obviously, Nick, you had a solo career. You had this huge hit, as well. Like both of you guys like went into music, and then Kevin, you didn't really, right? I mean,
I did not, no.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, how come you kind of swerved when these guys,
It just wasn't in the cards for me at that time, and I've always felt like when it comes to music, it has to be right for what you want to do, and these guys had a passion for it, and I didn't feel, being transparent, confident in my vocal ability, my playing ability, to do it independently.
Yeah.
I leaned on these guys, and I think that was my crutch for so long that I kind of just felt like I wasn't there, wasn't prepared, and wasn't good enough, if I'm being frank. For me, I focused on other things. I went into thinking, okay, well, that was that chapter in my life, and now I'm going to go do this chapter in my life. I also feel like I didn't pick up a guitar for about 1.5 years after we broke up.
Wow.
Because I felt like I couldn't.
Yeah. You guys have all kind of, referenced being dads. And I think all of us here are dads of girls, right? All of us are, yeah? So let's talk about that. I mean, what have you learned? What have you learned being dads? And let me be specific about it. What have you learned about being girl dads?
What have I learned being a girl dad? Well, it's the greatest inspiration I've ever needed to go and do what I love, but also like provide for them and create for them. And they're in London right now, so I look at like a flight that'll take me across the world for a day and then fly back and play a show just the next day. It's like so worth it to be able to just take my kids to their first day of school. Like it's can be tough on the body, but I'll do anything. When in the past I'd be like, I'm gonna put my feet up, or I'm gonna go just like, I really need a massage, whatever it is. It's like, it makes you much stronger, and you wanna be healthy for them. You wanna be really present. I think just being able to put my phone down and sit with my daughters and get to know them every second is so important.
Every moment matters. Someone said something to me, and I've tried to live this now. They said it takes 10,000 hours to be, great at something.
Right.
That's traditionally the idea. Try to put 10,000 hours in before they're 10 years old.
That's good.
Because I have an 11-year-old now. She's definitely already on her way.
Yeah.
And 10,000 before 10 is, for anyone about to have kids, that's the advice I'd give you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin.
Right.
But I didn't know prior to being a parent that it was possible to access love this big. There's romantic love, and we understand what that is. But when that unit then experiences this big love together, this larger than life, spiritual, explosion of love, it's a profound thing. And I think it's changed me in ways I can't even begin to describe.
Joe, you've credited your mom with raising 4 boys and instilling, quote, an understanding of how to be nice guys to women. So I'm curious, what is most important to impart on your daughters in that sort of realm?
It's a great question. Yeah, our mom is a super mom for with our dad, of course, raising us. But it's a big undertaking to have 4 boys running through the house all the time. But for girls, I think it's definitely, for me, having credible, strong female presence in the household and their household as well. I mean, they've got a fantastic mom, and so I get to co-parent with a great person who prioritizes these kids as well. I want them to grow up in a world where they feel like they can do whatever the hell they want, and they get the experiences that life can provide. And I hope they can come to me to talk about anything. I want them to feel safe enough that I am their friend, and then I happen to be their dad.
Yeah.
That's what I hope for.
What happens if they come to you and say, Dad, we want to be a sister band of pop stars?
Well, I would say, how old are you now? I think that's something that I'd be pretty weary on just at a young age.
Yeah.
But I would like the idea that they wait till at least they're like old enough to buy a lottery ticket. That would be nice, because it's similar, where it can be a gamble, and it can be a gamble personally and mentally. And it's as great as it is to start young. I don't envy the young artists that are starting today. So
one thing I want to talk about is how, as brothers, you guys have rallied for each other. And I say that because I feel like, I'm sure that there have been hardships that you guys have gone through that the public doesn't know about, but there are others that the public does know about. And for instance, Nick, you getting diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at such a young age. You've talked about that, but I'm curious, what was your reaction to that? How did you kind of rally around Nick and help him through that?
It was a scary time. We were on the road in that van that I mentioned, going up and down and playing shows. How I remember it is, Joe, we saw Nick's back and something was not right. Like, he was skin and bones. And it was a scary thing. Like, I thought I was gonna lose my brother. Truly, I didn't know. I didn't understand how that was even possible.
Yeah. There are other moments where, Nick and Joe, you've come together for Kevin, or Kevin and Nick, you've come together for Joe. What are some of these moments?
My divorce. These guys and many others being by my side through probably the most difficult time in my adult life thus far, navigating it while we're traveling and touring. And divorce is tough. It's not easy for anybody. And I think, people are so quick to make assumptions. And I'm just grateful that I have these guys and I have amazing family and friends. People are going through so much. And the fact that I could go perform and make people feel something and maybe distract them from what they're going through or their divorce for the 2 hours they come see a concert, it gave me so much purpose. And that I could get it on the other side 2-ish years later and be able to have a relationship with my co-parent, Sophie, and you realize you do everything you do for your kids. I'll do anything for them, and there's a lot to navigate through that. But these guys had my back, whether I wanted to talk about it or they knew I did not want to talk about it that day. They showed up for me in a major way, and so it's that's the main answer.
Yeah. So you guys are out on tour now. You know, you talked about, you know, you're playing music and maybe helping distract people from, you know, whatever they might be going through or just giving them a good time. Are there any songs that people are responding to right now that you're like, huh, that surprises me?
Backwards.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Backwards is just.
There's a song on the album that, you know, it was not a single. We weren't thinking it was going to be a single. It was
Might be
kind
now.
We saw a video on TikTok of a fan angrily singing the lyrics to the song. And it's kind of like done a thing. It started a trend. And now there are like 5,000 plus individuals have used the audio doing the same kind of trend. And we're like, okay, shit, like we didn't expect this one, but now we play it live. And the other day we played it live, and you kind of know after 20 years, if you play a song and the crowd gets excited off the first lyric, you're like, oh shit, that's a familiar feeling of other songs we've had, like Sucker and Year 3000, where we're looking at each other and we're like, this could be one. You never know. But that's definitely off the new album. That one's kind of shocking us.
How much longer can we expect the Jonas Brothers to be the Jonas Brothers?
That's
forever?
That's a great question.
Can we say
that
forever?
we, you know, we don't quite have the answer to, but then you see people like Coldplay and Rolling Stones and still doing it, man.
Are you guys going to be 82 years old and bouncing around singing SOS?
God willing.
I don't know, but it's hard to remove ourselves from being brothers. So I don't know. That'd be
That's right. That's a misleading question.
It's an expensive lawyer.
Yeah.
I think we hope to do this for a long ass time, and it is 20 years, but we started pretty young. So we feel like we're young enough to continue this, and now we have more reason to do it. So,
okay, last question. What advice would you give your younger selves when you were like 12, 15, 17? You know, when this is just happening. If you could go back and you could say, young Nick, young Joe, young Kevin, what would you tell them?
I would tell myself it's okay to be a kid. You know, to keep that youthful spirit.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of pressure that I put on myself to just act older, and also because I was projecting, I wanted to be perceived as more mature than I was, because I felt like that would make me feel like enough or something. My parents did an amazing job of not letting us miss out on our childhoods, but I think I didn't do a good enough job of just being a kid.
Really?
So that's what I would say.
Joe?
I would probably tell that silly, quiet kid, it's okay to be yourself. Like one day people are going to celebrate you for being authentically you. You don't have to try to fit in to a certain group in school, and it's totally okay that the crush you had didn't call you back and had her sister break up with you. It's gonna be okay, kid. I'd say one day you're gonna get on stage and you can be wacky and silly and talk about things publicly that you like. You'll shock yourself, and just go for it earlier. And you are allergic to shellfish.
Kevin, bring us home.
Remember to be happy. Remember to actually live in the moments, because it's how I'm kind of wired, and I work against it every day. I always think about the next thing before I'm even in the moment. So I'm kind of missing it. And I think I did that for so many years that I have like blank holes in my memory for this band. There are things I see a photo and go, I don't remember being there. And I think I missed moments because I was too focused on what I was about to do. And I think so. Just slow down, enjoy the time, and celebrate the wins. Celebrate it all. You know, for so long I don't think we did, and I think it's okay to be like, we did something great today.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, and be happy.
Yeah.
I think you should be more worried, to be honest.
Okay. I will.
All right, Nick, Joe, Kevin, the Jonas Brothers, thank you for this conversation.
Thank you, Esquire.
Thank you.
I love this.
Yeah. They've got a record you should check out. They're on tour. They're going to be on tour again. Coming to a city near you. Go see them. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, John.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Esquire.
everyone.